No one knows when to buy a home, just like no one can predict the movement of the stock market. With that said, the real estate market is slower moving, and buyers can watch for signs like low interest rates, high average days on market, high housing supply, and many local factors to help them gauge the optimal time to buy a home. When interest rates are low. One of the best times to buy a home is when interest rates are low. Remember that mortgage interest rates generally follow the direction of the 10-year U.S. Treasury Note market. As a result, keep an eye out on where these rates are and where they're headed. Banks will typically base their 30-year fixed mortgage rates off of where the U.S. 10-year Treasury Note is currently trading. Because Treasuries are considered to be risk-free and mortgage loans are not, mortgage rates will, of course, be higher than Treasuries of an equivalent tenor. When the average days on market climb. Many news publications and even brokerages will publish periodic updates on the state of the real estate market in a particular market. For example, if you're buying a home in New York City and simply Google this topic, you'll find out that the average days on market to a signed contract is currently over 100 days in New York City. That means it takes on average over 3 months for the average seller of a home in New York City to find a buyer and fully execute a purchase contract. Pretty scary considering New York City is typically considered to be the country's hottest and most resilient real estate market. This phenomenon is called a buyer's market and indicates a great time to be a buyer. A buyer's market is characterized by fewer transactions but more inventory on the market. As a result, sellers typically won't receive multiple offers and have bidding wars that go above asking. In fact, the fewer transactions that do happen may often result from a single offer. When housing supply numbers increase. National housing supply figures are published by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis and are widely quoted in the media. If you take a look at this data, you'll notice that the monthly supply of houses in the United States has increased as of late, though it's nowhere close to as high as the glut was during the great financial crisis of 2007-2008. You can find local housing supply figures simply by searching the internet. This data is regularly published by MLS or realtor associations, newspapers, and even brokerages themselves. Local factors and market disruptions. Keep in mind that there are many state, local, or city circumstances that may cause property prices to fluctuate. For example, property prices may be in the gutter if the city or state is facing financial distress or even bankruptcy. Case in point, New York City in the mid-1970s was a complete mess. The city was facing both a crime and drug epidemic, and murders were at an all-time high. However, because the federal government famously told New York City to drop dead when asked for a bailout, city officials were forced to make tough changes and reforms, which benefited the city and property market enormously. This would have been a terrific time to invest based purely on local factors. Interested in learning how you can save $20,000 or more on your home purchase with a Hauseit buyer closing credit? Drop us a line or visit us at www.hauseit.com to learn more. We'd love to hear from you.